Hello and welcome back to the Friday Feels episode of the U Up Podcast. I'm Jordana Abraham.
And I am Jared Freed. It is such a pleasure to be back here with you, Jordana, but it's especially a pleasure to be here with our very special guest. She has a children's book that is out right now called Beatrix Butterfly.
Don't bury the lead.
And, then the real big deal, her new album, Dreamsicle, is out wherever you get music. Maren Morris, thank you for coming on the show.
Oh, it's good to be here.
It's a pleasure. How are you? What's going on?
I'm good. I feel like this is my first thing for the week, so I'm just easing in. You're getting the fresh-faced, voiced me. But no, I'm good. I love being in New York. Like it feels like a second home.
Where do you go in New York? What's the thing in New York that you look forward to doing? That you're like, I gotta go here, or I gotta do this.
Yeah, I mean, I have my spots for sure. I try to like get out of my comfort zone when I'm here because there's always something new restaurant, new bar that opened. But I love being downtown. Love like Alto Paradiso. I feel like we eat a lot when we're here. So good.
You ever been?
No, I don't think so.
Great restaurant.
Yeah. It's good for like lunch mostly. Like I've had a few dinners there, but it's really good for lunch. Amazing pasta. But no, I mean, the last time I was here, I think, so my friend Cassidy Pope is in Titanic right now. So I went and saw her.
I've heard great things.
So funny. Like,
really?
Just, there's no intermission. So it's a lot in one act, but like you don't stop moving or laughing. It's just so funny.
Amazing. Well, I want to see it.
Unhinged.
Speaking of great work, I have to say, they go, Maren Morris is coming on the show. I'm not a music head. It's tough for me to like connect artists to the songs I like. Mm-hmm. So I go and today I'm listening. I just took your name, put it into Spotify, and I press play on shuffle. You ever do that? I'm just like, give me a Maren Morris day. And your music's wonderful. And I was
amazing.
Like, it's amazing. And I've heard so many of your songs because I'll out myself. I listen to Hot Country all the time. Mm-hmm. And you're like all over that station. Like your songs pop up. And I'm like, I know this one. I know that one. And then there was another song that came on. And I was like, why do I know this song? And it's the song from Wild Robot where I was crying while watching Wild Robot.
Yeah.
Your song made me cry.
Which one is it? Because there's two in that.
No, the one that got the grant. What the fuck did you do to me? How could you do this? I was in the middle of a coffee shop. No, it's called Kiss the Sky.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that one will elicit the waterworks.
My God, Wild Robot. I mean, did you know the song was for that movie? Did you have it like how? The movie's about a robot who's a mother to this little duck.
Why are you watching this movie?
Because
4-year-old single man, no children. I'm like, have you ever seen The Sopranos? He's like, I don't have time.
But I will watch The Wild Robot.
I watch it at the park while I watch everyone's children that I don't know.
Yes.
Sure. Yeah.
So, no, I
get it.
I was on a flight and I watched The Wild Robot, and it's about a robot mom who takes care of like a duck and teaches it how to fly. And I'm like a mess watching this movie, and it right when your song comes on, and I was like, I didn't know. And I'm like, it's mind, body, soul. You have this moment.
Oh, thank you. That was pretty recent too. It came out in the fall. So, to answer your question, we wrote the song for the film, so it wasn't something I had written and then decided like this would work for this scene. It was like very collaborative with the DreamWorks animators, Chris Bowers, who did the score. I mean, we were all really involved, and this started like 3 years ago. So it takes a long time apparently to animate a film.
So 3 years ago, do they come to you and they say, "Mom teaches kid how to fly"? Like, what do they say to you to inspire? How do you write a song from that?
Yeah, well, it is based off a book series.
Okay.
But I had not read the book because it's kind of for older children. And at the time, my son was like 2 or 3. So they just showed me a really early rendering of this one like 5-minute scene. And it was when Bright Bill, the baby gosling, the goose, like is learning to fly.
It's a goose,
It's
right?
a goose, yeah, but you were close with the duck.
I had to sound like a man while I told her Jordana's called me a pussy for crying during a fucking DreamWorks movie. I gotta find some wins here somewhere.
I haven't met a single person, man, woman, anyone like any age range that hasn't cried during that scene at least. So, I mean, and also when you're on an airplane.
Skeptical.
When you're on an airplane, I feel like with the cabin pressure, like you're more apt to cry.
That's what I told the flight attendant.
Something in your eye.
Yeah.
I watched P.S. I Love You once on a flight and just like was inconsolable.
That's a pretty good movie. Yeah.
What's P.S. I Love You?
It's like Gerard Butler, Hilary Swank. Sorry, it's been out for over 10 years.
He dies and he writes
in the very
her
beginning
like
of the movie.
I got it.
Something where he dies and she reads some notes after.
He knew he was like terminally ill and
yes.
like it posthumously sends her care packages and letters and recordings of himself. It's almost cruel.
What a dickhead.
Yeah, really up the bar for anyone.
Like I'm trying to get over you and be unhinged. And I got these death packages coming from the love of my life. What the fuck?
It's kind of true.
So annoyed.
You should do a live scream of that.
Don't watch it on an airplane because the attendant will ask you if you need another bottle of wine or a box of tissues, and I did both.
You definitely should watch it on the next airline. I want to see a live scream. So your album's coming out May 9th, which is today, if you're listening to this on a Friday.
May 9th.
Or tomorrow if you're a subscriber and you're getting this episode early. What would you say is there something that inspired you for this album in particular? Do you usually write about like the phase of your life that you're currently in? Like what was your inspiration?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really make concept records like, oh, today I'm gonna start a project that's gonna be a 13-song album about my obsession with squirrels. Like it's just not gonna be a conceptual record.
The squirrel album comes out next year, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. It's called Hey Squirrel. But no, it's
called
this is already going off the rails.
Backup vocals by you. Yeah.
Okay. No, I just write like what I know, which is like, you know, a lot of conversations with friends, things will fall out of something we say, I'll write it down, it'll become a song the next day. Or, you know, dating and, you know, I went through a divorce almost like 2 years ago. And then now I've got like a 5-year-old little boy at home. And so it's just like a lot of life changes, some career shifts, and just, I mean, I know we were just talking about like a children's movie, but I mean, there's just so many creative things going on that it makes me more excited to go back and do my actual music when I have side endeavors, if that makes sense.
No, I think that makes a lot of sense. It's almost like if nothing shifts or is bad or is good or anything happens, it's probably hard to get inspiration, right?
Yeah. I think I just have like a bigger bandwidth now, like maybe because my son's 5 and I've like put a lot of things behind me. I have more creative space to, you know, write children's books and write for film and do my thing, tour hopefully this year. You know, it's just, I feel like I've made more space in my life to do with the things that I want to do.
I mean, so you said you're out there dating. You live in Nashville. We've been in Nashville. I've been there many times. The women of Nashville seem to be angry about the dating scene. They seem to have a lot, you know, of the cities we get feedback from. New York, it's hard, everyone's disposable. You know, San Francisco, we've heard the saying from like those tech towns, the odds are good, but the goods are odd. They have a lot of like weirdo tech guys.
I love that.
Nashville, the issue seems to be you have people kind of coming in for their big party weekend and you're meeting some guy on the app that is here for a couple hours and asking to meet in an alley. Sure. Are you finding that, or what's your experience with dating in Nashville?
Yeah, I mean, I don't do a ton of it there. I think because I've been there for 12 years, I feel like I know everyone. And
circles are small there, even though it's a big
New York,
town.
just in terms of population, also LA, like it's just the pool is bigger. Nashville is just extremely close. And I mean, there's no saying what the future will hold, but in the limited dating I've done, it has not mostly been there.
Not in Nashville.
It'll be like here or LA.
Really?
Yeah.
So how do you meet people here in LA? Like, when's the last date you went on?
It was like a Raya date.
Araya.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That was like the last kind of one. I feel like lately I've just been so busy with work that it's like, as much as I love having a crush, it's just, I have
Takes a
other
lot of time to
shit
have a
going
crush.
on.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
and also having a kid. What's it like to date with having a kid? Like,
I've never really dated before now. So this is all very new for me. So having a kid, I've never had context of dating without one. So
Got it.
Right.
I was talking to my friend Julia Michaels about this, and it's like she said something to the effect of like, you will separate the boys from the men really quickly when you tell them like, I have a kid, this is like priority one. A lot of people, you will realize pretty quickly like if they're comfortable with that.
Right.
And
What do they like when they're
fair enough
uncomfortable?
if they're not,
How
but
do you
like just
tell?
let me
Yeah.
know.
Do they say up front, like, that's not for me? Or do you kind of like know from the way they react to you saying, oh, I can't do this because my kid needs this or something like
I mean,
that?
in my limited, view and experience of it, I feel like it's their reaction because like I think no one wants to be rude or be like, fuck that. Like, but
Ew.
I think everyone's like, cool, totally
Right.
cool. But
Right.
like, I think at this point, I can read it pretty well. I'm like, okay, yeah, you're gonna be weird about this. Cool.
Right.
It's not for everyone.
Do you prefer to date people who also have kids?
I have not, but I feel like that might be a smart thing to do because, now that I have kind of gotten through my phase of dating where I'm like, I know who I am, I know what I don't want, I feel like it would be probably the least time wasty for me to date someone that has either like been through a divorce or has children. Just because like I think they get it. They get how hard it is to try to prioritize time for yourself because your kids are so priority one and like job stuff. There are a lot of things. Dating is like the last rung of the ladder. So I think it would probably be smart to date someone that has that experience, but I'll let you know when it works out.
Right.
You definitely hear from, like, I hear from my friends with kids, like how annoying it is to hear someone with no kids talk about how busy they are or how tired they are. And you're like, I guess the frame of, the perspective, like they're not meaning to sound annoying about it, but like, I can understand you're on a date with someone
It's
and they're
all
like,
relative.
oh, today was a long day. Played video games and then I came here and you're like, fuck you. Like
Yeah.
I changed the diaper.
Yeah. I never get weird when people say like, oh, how busy they were, but I think it's when they stop communicating or they start like being avoidant and then they finally get back and they're like, oh, I've just been so busy. That's when I'm like, okay, fuck off. You're not. It's like you just haven't done more in the last like 12 hours than me.
Yeah. And you can't really argue with busy. That's the tough part. It's like you can't tell someone they're not busy.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess when you have a 5-year-old at home, you go, well, you didn't have this extra thing, yanking at your shirt collar.
Yeah.
While those
Right.
other things that I also have to do, you have a different perspective on the time.
Yeah, and like I've learned to sort of, as I get through this, take it less personally because it's like they are not ready for whatever I'm bringing to the table, and that's like it's just those little things you realize like okay, like I'm not gonna continue this because I get the picture now. So
Right.
yeah, but I think it's just tough. Like I think you just have to. I've talked to people about this before, where it's like you just have to be so secure in yourself to date a mother with the career that I have who has a kid. Like it would have to be a very secure
Right.
human being to be like, whoa, she's got everything covered. What can I add to her life that she hasn't already given herself? So
Yeah.
it's a strong individual that would need to be there.
And we've kind of talked about that, and when we were talking about, there's sort of like this ongoing debate about like the idea of like, can you be intimidated by a successful woman? That's a lot of things that a lot of our listeners who are successful women say men are intimidated by this and like what that means to them. We've also kind of touched upon this, that there are for many men, like when a woman is very successful, thinking like, what can I bring to this scenario? Can I be needed? And like the feeling that men want to be needed. A lot of times that's through financial resources, and if someone doesn't need that, is there a feeling, would you think there might be a feeling for you of like, well, what am I offering here?
Well, I guess for me it would be less what you said about being secure. I think that's a big part of like being secure in that you're just not like being toted along.
Yeah.
Like I think that would be like I want to be self-sufficient while you're being self-sufficient. You don't want to be like the loser with the winner.
Right.
Like, and I do think that's like a male thing where it's like you judge yourself by your
be
career.
the trophy husband.
Right. Trophy husband is like, just societally not really looked at You know, if someone's like going to be a mom and a housewife, like that is, someone goes, that's a job. The hardest job in the world.
Are you sleeping with society, or are you sleeping with this girl who thinks you're amazing? Like, I just think the guy is gonna, or the person's gonna rise to the occasion. I think that like I fall into this trap sometimes where I will really like fall in love with people's potential, but not what they're actually offering. Yeah, I guess so. Or maybe it's like limerence. But no, I think I have to like stop doing that and just make the person real, because you know, it's just easy in my own ambition and dreamscape, because at the end of the day, like, you have to be delusional to do this job and, you know, believe in yourself. And so I think that sometimes I'll do that for other people too. And they don't have the means to get there on this timeline, or, you know, it's like you can't fall in love with potential. You have to fall in love with the human being.
Well, that's like exactly what I'm talking about. Like, if you're looking at potential and then they don't have the confidence to see themselves being as successful as you see them being.
Right.
Like, how could they be with you? I can understand that they would go, well, now I feel like a loser, you know, like, you know, that's, you know, that's the problem with the potential.
But I can totally see what you're saying, where you're like, you're in a career where like 1 in a million makes it. You make it, and you're like, anything could happen. This guy could get a job.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Stranger things, right?
Yeah, if I can do it, you know.
Yeah, I think like I've fallen into that before, where it's like I end up wanting to help people, because it's like at the end of the day, like it's not a fault, I suppose. It's like I see the best in people, and that's something I hope I retain. I hope I always like see optimism and, you know, something in someone that maybe they haven't uncovered yet. But I mean, I think a more mature thing in like wanting to share your heart with someone would be like, you need to show up fully ready. I don't have the DIY time anymore. Like, just be a whole person. That's all I ask.
I mean, your story is one of grit. You know, you were American Idol, The Voice, and America's Got Talent.
Loser.
You didn't make it on any of those.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like,
I would never call you a loser. I would say those all things led to where you are today.
Well, I guess you'd have to even compete to be a loser. So I didn't even make it that far into those shows.
You were just like, you just went and auditioned and never got on those shows.
No, I think I was like a teenager doing a lot of those. My mom would drive me to the like cattle call auditions and Texas, like at the old Cowboy Stadium in Dallas, and I would like wait in line with the 1,000 people for American Idol auditions and like didn't get it.
I mean, that can be motivating as well as defeating, but you know, I'm sure you use that as motivation, right?
Yeah, I mean, the day of it sucked, because it's like the walk of shame out of the stadium back to your like mom's car, and you know, she's like, "I'm sorry, honey," and you know, you just like, I've learned that it's really, like you said, 1 in a million people make it. It's just, what's the saying? It's like time, like hard work plus like showing up, perseverance plus luck. Like it's all those things, and it hits at the right time. But it's like you have to keep, like, I don't know, almost embarrassing yourself.
You have to be like a little delusional. That's kind of delusional. That's how a lot of people feel about dating, right?
I feel that way.
You kind of feel like you've got to like just every date you go, especially if you like, are a lot of listeners write in and they're like a little jaded, or they're kind of like, well, it's another date, this guy's not going to call, it's not going to work out. But there is like a little bit of delusion that you need to bring to
it's
going
called
on
resilience.
Yeah. Or like,
it's like guys' rejection is God's protection. Yeah.
And I mean, like, because like it's hard to envision the ending, but like it does, like you said, like with those 3 things, it kind of like, if you keep going, it will eventually work out.
Yeah, I guess.
If you Google you, a big thing that comes up is that you came out as bi. Mm-hmm. And have you been on dates with women? Mm-hmm. And how has that experience been? How do you meet women? Is it the same? You're on Raya as well. What's that experience been like, and what's the comparison? Is there a comparison?
Yeah, I think there is. I mean, I would love to talk about it because I'm so new at it, and I would love to just get feedback, because my experience has been really positive, but I also have like confusion sometimes, because I can connect with a woman, any woman, within like 2 minutes, and we'll be talking about our childhoods. We'll be talking about, the bully when we were 13. Like, we will get into it so quickly. With a guy, that would take like years, to get into that trauma. But we just like, we're so good at building community out of like, sharing stories or gossip or whatever you'd like to call it. It's like survival technique is we like cling together out of like vulnerabilities. And I think there's something that I get confused sometimes because sometimes I just like love a woman and we're friends. Mm-hmm. And then she's giving me a vibe of like, she's going to kiss me. And I feel like we're just friends, but I really connect with you on this emotionally deep level. It's like, that's where I sometimes have the hard delineation of romance versus friendship because women can connect so quickly and easily, which is like a magical thing about us. But that's like the comparison, I guess, to dating men.
Right. Where you could be on a date with someone you met on a dating app and still be like, this is friendship.
And, guy or girl.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I guess, I guess if I was on a date with a woman, there would the idea of friendship would be like to me it would be like a failure of the date.
Sure, yeah.
Because I was like, wait, I'm not on a date with someone because I'm not attracted to them anymore.
No, I mean it makes sense, and I guess like I'm always showing up, especially if it's a date, with the intention or hope that like maybe this will lead somewhere. Because at the end of the day, it's like I have enough friends. I think I'm good. Like I'm looking for something beyond that. But sometimes it's just like the chemistry isn't there. It doesn't depend, you know, on the guy or the girl. Sometimes you just show up and have a meal or like a cocktail, and you're like, you're cool as fuck, but like I don't want to sleep with you ever. Like,
is it like a physical thing? Is it like kind of like
I think it would have to be because it's like you can't really be too emotional.
Yeah, I would feel like it might be more difficult to be like we're having this intense connection, and I find you really attractive. So like maybe that's
such a rare thing though,
right?
Yeah,
well, that's the hard part, right?
I know. Yeah.
What was your first date with a woman like? Because you're coming out of like a marriage, you're coming out, you know, this is new to you. As you said, dating generally is new to you. So how nerve-wracking was that? Like, were you nervous or not? Or was there awkwardness? Like, what are the thoughts going on for you?
I mean, I was nervous just because I had never been on a date with a woman. So of course I'm going to be like, what the hell does this look like? But then it was so easy and ended up being like a 3-hour hang, and we didn't do dinner because I still get really nervous about just having the whole meal planned with someone that you might not jive with at all.
I do not want to eat with someone I don't know the ordering.
Well, it's a long time to. That's why I think I always say a drink on a first date is like the way to go, because if you're meeting, the expectation is low, you're getting a vibe. And I think like half of a connection is like a chemical pheromone thing. Like, are you feeling that thing in the air? And I think you can tell that pretty quickly. So I would say.
Plus the drink is the hourglass. You know, the minute that drink is over, it's a definitive end of the date. Hey, I'm done with my drink. If it doesn't go well, nice to meet you. This was great. Thank you so much.
And now you have saying the drink is the hourglass. It's so true.
And now you have a kid, so you have a built-in excuse to leave whenever you want, right? That's like that's why you have them, right?
Right. That's the only reason
there's always like an escape hatch. I mean, we've always had that though, like kid or my friend's in trouble. You know, there's always like an exit strategy, but it's been interesting. I think mostly it's been positive. Just you get to like meet people. They're also a mirror of what you're bringing to the date, because it's like it is an interview in some moments. Like we're just asking a bunch of questions. You realize they haven't asked you any questions, and then you're like, "Cool, nice to meet you." Like,
right?
Yeah, but I think you just kind of learn about yourself and like what people are seeing in this first impression of you. Like what are you bringing?
Right. I think that's like kind of the scariest part of going on a date. It's like, what does the person think of me? But I guess to frame it as like, do you like them? It's probably the way to go, but it's so much easier said than done.
Yeah.
I guess that's where the confusion comes up, because with a woman, you're like, I like this person. You know, like a guy, it's kind of, I would think with a guy on a date, if you don't like him, you're like, fuck this piece of shit. It's more likely than maybe a woman who's like being nice and you connect.
That's actually her song in her album.
Fuck this piece of shit.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. That's going to be the deluxe.
On this vein of like getting a vibe and feeling like you're in or you're out, or not, the chemical balance of a date, we have a game we call Icky or Picky. Okay.
Okay.
You go on a date with someone and you end it. Now, were they being too picky? Was it something stupid?
Not a big deal.
Not a big deal. Or was it a true ick?
Got it. Okay.
And it was icky and
more
they were
serious.
right. And we're here to either validate or discredit the end.
Got it. Okay.
We're allowing it. Right.
I like
I'll
this.
Go for it.
All right. Hi, J&J. And Maren Morris. I love the show.
And everyone go check out Maren's new album, Dreamsicle. It is in the descriptions of the episode. You can click a link and get right to Maren's music right away. And the book, Beatrix Butterfly, with an X.
Beatrix, yeah, with an X.
Beatrix. Do we like that name? How do you get
like Beatrix Potter, who wrote Peter Rabbit.
Oh.
She's
I'll
like
have to
our
read that book one time.
inspo.
No.
That's next on your list.
Yeah, that's the next.
After Wild Robot, do the Peter Rabbit series.
Okay. I love the show. I wanted to get your take on something that has been bothering me in my semi-new relationship. I'll jump right in. My boyfriend, 28, and I, 23, have had a great relationship for almost 6 months, but I noticed that he still follows his ex-wife on social media. They don't have kids or any real reason to stay connected, and from what I know, their marriage ended a few years ago and not on good terms at all. He was basically blindsided, and it kind of seemed to ruin his life. What a fun person to date.
Right.
Yeah.
A life ruiner.
I haven't brought it up to him yet because I don't want to seem insecure or controlling, but part of me feels like it's a little ick. Am I being too picky, or is this a valid reason to feel uneasy? Important details about his social media usage. He only let me follow him and followed me about a month or so ago. I had to ask him several times, and at first he told me he didn't have the app, even though I'm 98% sure I saw it on his phone. He has not posted on his profile in a long time, and I don't think he uses it frequently. He also has a second account that he told me he does not have access to and cannot get deleted that has a picture of him and his ex-wife as the profile picture. Would love to hear your take. Thanks, and overthinking Batch.
So they had a couple's Instagram? Like
That's right. What's
Yeah,
the
the
second
second
one
account.
for?
It's
No.
funny. The context almost gave us less context.
Yeah, it was getting more confusing and more vague. I would say this is an ick. Like
They still follow their ex on social media.
Yeah.
And they're wondering.
They've been dating for how long?
6 months.
That's psychotic. Sorry if he's listening, but like you wouldn't let me follow you and we've been dating for 6 months.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I know if I love a person within 6 weeks. So
Totally agree.
why don't you want me to follow you? What's going on over there that you want me to see?
Right. Because if you're on social enough that you have
And
two
you
accounts.
lied
Yes.
and said you don't have it on your
Right.
phone, which you do.
Right, which he does. And he has 2 accounts. So someone who never uses Instagram, I don't think would have 2 Instagram accounts.
It is funny that this question almost needs to be separated from the extracurriculars of the question. Because the extracurriculars make him sound like he's been lying. Like if it was just plain and simple, my new boyfriend follows their ex-wife on social media, I actually think that can happen in a world.
It's
like,
the other stuff that I'm having trouble with. But I think also, I mean, it depends on the person. But if my current boyfriend had a really bad divorce with their ex-spouse and they still follow them and they didn't have children together, they don't have pets together, no real like link, I would wonder why. Like, why do you want to keep tabs on this person?
Right. Is there something they're not telling you? I think there's like there's an underlying shadiness, I think, about it.
Check the DMs.
Yeah.
yeah, there's the underlying shadiness. I agree with that. And also it's like, have you fully healed from it? Like, are you keeping this one line
Door
open
yeah.
to like be able to like check on them? You get checked on you. Again, you can see if they've watched your stories, you know, if like you follow each other, it's like the first name that comes up or one of the first few names. And it's like something that like, you know, brings you back.
Right.
So like maybe you want to be brought back if you're still holding on to this like
When
connection.
you're clearly like, they'll call it, I'm private, but like you're dating this girl for 6 months and you have trust issues about her seeing your life on Instagram, but your ex who like devastated you gets access to you in that way, it just doesn't make
Right.
sense.
I agree. There's something missing here. But I have to ask you a question because, like, you got divorced. Did you have to have like a period of time where you had to figure out before you were dating, like, how to package this relationship in a way that like felt like you had processed it and were ready to date? I feel like that sometimes is something people kind of like need to do before going on a date, to be like, this is how I'm presenting my history.
Yeah. I mean, I think luckily my ex and I, and we, like I mentioned, we have a 5-year-old. So you kind of go through all these stages of grief and anger, sadness, depression. You work through a lot of it. And you're like, there are days where I'm really mournful or I miss them, and days where I'm like angry again. Or, you go through all of it. And I think I was not dating during that time, thank God. But yeah, you're right. There probably is something you have to prepare to say to new people, because at the end of the day, like, kids or not, I always think it's a really big red flag when someone slags off their ex on a first or second date. I think it's really telling of the way that you view people in general that aren't in your life.
Like talk shit on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's weird. Even if they like cheated on you,
Right.
devastated you, I think it's really bizarre when people shit all over their exes on those first few dates because
Right.
you don't know the person yet. And
Right.
you don't know how trustworthy they are, you know.
Could be saying this about you in 3 months. Yeah.
Exactly. And or like maybe it was a completely fine breakup and what have you. And I just never want someone talking that way about me to
Right.
people. And so yeah, you don't have control over everyone's like opinion of you, but I think it's always a red flag for me when someone goes right into talking shit about their ex.
When they talk shit, it's like they haven't even contextualized the whole thing.
No,
like, that's
you're
like
getting
half
one
the
side.
story.
Right. And they
Yeah.
don't seem over it. I would think the more shit you talk, the more I'm like, all right, you
They're
have
not
some
over it.
stuff to work through before you're ready to date.
I had that on a date once. I was on like a first date, and I was like asked about the last relationship, and they were like, "That guy couldn't fucking commit," and I was like, "Okay, well."
I'm
This is gonna
starting
be
to
me
see
in a
where
few
it went
months,
wrong.
you know, like I could see the future, you know. Like,
No,
yeah.
you need to be like way more private, cards close to your chest, because I just think like people, you like can't trust people yet. And I think we're so like wounded sometimes and want to be vulnerable with complete strangers. But I just always think it's a really big, bad can of worms when someone's like with their first drink or meal with you and they're like, this bitch, and they're really derogatory.
Yeah.
And like, you are a no, absolutely not.
Totally. And there's a difference between coming to it with like a sense of vulnerability. Like, this was my experience. This was how I felt. It was a hard time for me.
I was hurt.
Right. I was hurt versus like the demonizing of
They
the person.
did
Yes.
this.
Right. Exactly. Like the way you describe it.
Listen, Maren, thank you so much for coming
I love
on.
ending on that note.
No,
Yes, on a happy note. No.
Stop being an asshole.
I
You're
want
an
to
ass.
listen to the
want more
album.
icks or pics.
So we agree this is icky.
Yeah.
This situation.
That's really icky.
I think it's icky.
Yes.
It's especially considering the context of they're holding me at bay from following the account. They have another account that suddenly appears. I can't get into it.
Two of them have a picture together. It's the profile picture.
And by the way, you might see a picture of us together, but it's not my account, and I can't
Yeah.
get into the account. It's like, okay,
None of
easy
it is
there.
like
Are they still in
taking-
the relationship?
right.
I know, maybe
Yeah.
not since we've read this, but I think he's not taking her feelings into consideration whatsoever. So
Agreed.
Maren, this is wonderful. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having
we
me.
want everyone to go listen to Maren's music. It'll make you cry. I can
Yeah.
speak from experience.
So
Laugh
incredibly
and
talented.
hope.
Well,
Yeah.
the new album's wonderful. Dreamsicle, go. Listen, so go, follow Maren on Spotify and all the music platforms. Thank you again. And
Yeah,
we'll be
thank
back
y'all.
next week.
Bye.